an absolute insane carry as well. The Lucian is going to get taken off from the side of Bogart. That does mean the Zeri also is looking like a potential ban. It does go away as well, but this time around, the Draven is banned again. Why do I even say that? I keep wanting a Draven.
I know you do, but OMG aren't going to let you, are they? You know, you thought we were changing sides, but apparently we're just sticking on the same one. So, again, we saw this Varus first pick. No, again, I ask the same question every game, Kitty, because there's so much information in the break to absorb. I don't blame you. And again, you know, I'm glad you did highlight the Draven because we have triple AD ban, which means OMG are like, well, we'll just pick the Varus again, and it is still a flex.
Yep, the Ashe is available for the side of OMG though, so this Varus, I mean, could we ever see a world where Ashe goes ADC and Varus goes support? I think Ashe support is just way better compared to the Varus support, so does mean that Ultra Prime potentially could deny that pick. I mean, you never want to be versing the duo of Varus and Ashe. It's just way too much damage in the early game and a lot of CC as well. But Doggo, I mean, paired with something like the Ashe, the Caitlyn and the Heimerdinger, they are giving over the Ashe.
A little bit earlier, yeah. Again, Ashe can just be picked up, as you were stating here before as well. And just going to look at PP God. So far, he's only played one game of it, but he's got, you know, kind of the multiverse of supports going at the moment. Even seen something like his Alistar. So let's see if that's the direction they want to go. For OMG, it makes sense. But on the other side, their jungler, they're just going to go for the Vi again. The handshake deal in the jungle, well, I'm glad you pointed it out because the 2v2 is set for OMG this time around.
I'm surprised that Aki decided to opt into this Vi vs Sejuani matchup again. It's not that this matchup is bad, but just the amount of proactiveness we saw from Ning on the Sejuani and how much it generated a lead for Ultra Prime. I would assume to take this away, it is his most played, I believe, 8 games on it now for Ning. But they rather verse Sejuani over the Malphite, which is fair enough. But Ezreal getting locked in for Doggo. I'm not a big fan of Ezreal in this current meta because he doesn't do a lot of damage until he hits his item spikes. And when you're up against something like the Varus and Ashe, I mean, they just have so much poke and CC.
And I mean, we're still on 13.1, and I just know that, you know, Ezreal does have a couple of builds. We know that Kraken is incorporated into them, second or third. We can talk about that going into game, but I'll be curious to see how they pair this up because, Kitty, now we have a bit of range in the bottom lane, but are they going to go for something like a front line in the top lane again? Because Casante's banned away early here by OMG, and Ultra Prime is starting to get rid of other solo laners, and our solo lane pool is shrinking pretty fast.
Yeah, Sylas definitely a champion for contention, especially looking at what OMG provides with their champions. I mean, the Virus, the Vi, also the Ashe are just beautiful things to steal if Ching does want to opt into the Sylas once again. I mean, it did extremely well as well, paired up with Ning on the Sejuani. A lot of proactiveness in that early game, but it really depends on how Cream plays against the Sylas. I believe that Ultra Prime, once again, perhaps banning the Kassadin because they see the angle of this Sylas for this game too. Exactly that. Cream, we saw a lot of champions coming out of him. I mean, the Tristana, like you've been saying, such an aggressive laner where Aki just gets to do whatever he wants because it does open up the map so much more for that early game.
Well, Sylas banned away in that regard, so we actually get that taken away from Ultra Prime this time. Now, is Ching just going to pull out something like Syndra? Because he's been going Syndra or pretty much like Zoe, you know? This time around, is Ching going to go something a little bit more, I would say standard, but this is not a 13.1 comp really anyway.
A little scaling from Ultra Prime. Harry really needs to make up for that lack of damage. Perhaps something like the Renekton or the Jace. I mean, you already have some poke coming out of Victor and Ezreal. The Jace would just fit perfectly in there. But yeah, Cream, now what's his response to the Victor? I mean, something aggressive would be lovely. Might just look like another game of Rise for him though, but I didn't really enjoy him from that game 1.
No, neither did I. Hang on. Well, Nymira's sitting there with a big grin on his face at home because we get an Ari running into the Victor matchup here. Things get a little bit spicy, and maybe for Cream, an elevated laning phase this time might be exciting. As for Shanji, something explosive up in the top lane, Kitty. Now that would be something as well, wouldn't it?
Yep, definitely denying this Renekton from going to the hands of Harry. Shanji hovering his iconic Rumble pick gets locked in a second time in this spring split. I mean, the last time I saw his Rumble pick, I believe that he had a terrible early game, but once he hit the later stages of the game where he was able to play those team fights for those major objectives, he just popped off.
This is why OMG are fun to watch draft, as Harry's going to take the Camille into him. So it is going to be an exciting matchup, but Shanji is well versed. This is his pocket pick. And Kitty, this just means that layering in chokes is going to be so much fun to watch from OMG. And their setup as well, like they have the chance to Ash Arrow, burn, charm. You just don't get to move.
You don't get to move, you don't get to escape either. I mean, just the Vi and Ari combo from OMG makes these teamfights so, I guess, not vulnerable, but a lot of course, mobility coming out of them. But I do want to focus on Ultra Prime because they have Sejuani and Camille for this top lane 2v2. And if Shanji's Rumble gets to the 10-minute mark without getting camped, I'm going to be surprised.
All it will take is Shanji finding a snowball then. And he'll just be able to take over the game. On the other side, just note, Kitty, that we do have a lot of engage. We have ourselves great side laning. Quite a bit of scaling as well. Ultra Prime running the Ezreal nice and early. Victor comes in. Like, this is a strange draft from Ultra Prime as well.
Definitely a very wacky one, to say the least, but it does make sense. It does make sense. I mean, Shanji is just on something that he is comfortable on. Definitely a very lane-dominant pick, but this Ari and Vi, I mean, just we were lacking that mid-jungle synergy from game one, but I think with these champions in the hands of Arcane Cream, they are able to make that happen, and just so many resources around the map is going to go into the hands of Shanji, because if he's behind, I mean, this Rumble is going to have a very tough time.
That's right. Again, they'll be able to take over side lanes from Ultra Prime's perspective if they put him behind. Let's see what they can do to the top side with the melee matchup for Ning to try and abuse. As we head onto Summoner's Rift, Ultra Prime, their game one started by smashing down in the bottom lane. Absolute sipping all round. And then for game number two, we're going to ask what they can do to set up the early game as well. Keep things chill. Because for Ning, at the cornerstone of the game one was him on this Sejuani. He's going to be invaded this time around, but not caught out. Watch out for Ning. I feel like it needs to be said because his game one was fantastic.
Ultra Prime once again setting up that bush priority with Balan on this Heimerdinger. I mean, we're just going to kind of see a repeat, but this time it's going to be the Ashe Varus in the hands of OMG. A lot less punishing. I mean, something we saw from game one was that Kai'Sa, but if you don't find those angles and you're not proactive enough, it just falls way too behind. But something like the Varus, I mean, you provide that utility and you're able to sit so far behind where you are able to get to the carries of Ultra Prime on this Ezreal and Victor.
And this time around, if he hits that utility, it's going to be much more dangerous. You know, we're talking about PP God's damage being immense, but we know as this kind of on-hit 80 carry, still that lockdown comes through, the dueling powers there. Maybe a bit more threat this time from Abel. As Doggo's starting in Brush, they were trying to find something onto PP God and Abel. As Balan's going to do that with his turrets just out of range. But no one walks into the Brush. Abel and PP God well versed enough. As Lane, this time Kitty, starts without an advantage for Ultra Prime. I think that's a +1 for OMG.
Yep, and no first bloods in the first 2 minutes, so that is a great start for both sides of the team. But we already see Sejuani starting this red buff. I mean, if Ning is feeling cheeky enough, I think he could potentially burn a flash in this top lane 1v1.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to make Shanji very, very upset.
Harry is level 2, so Shanji's going to have to back off anyway, as the wave right now quite stagnant. Kitty, a good mention. We'll see if Ning can do anything there, as Abel actually caught out. Level 2 hit first by Doggo and Baolan. Look at the damage. And straight away, again, Abel has to back. He just burned his flash. Like, come on, round 2.
Ning, I mean, not Ning, but I think Varus is just a very cursed pick for the side of Ultra Prime. OMG, but we see Ning consistently hovering towards his top side. No ward down. I mean, there's a ward in that river, so Ning has realized that, so he's going to back and potentially look towards his bottom lane, where Abel did burn the flash in that 2v2.
And that flash being down means it's abusable, means Ning can partner back in the bottom side as well, look for the cleanse as well. A great start from the 2v2, and again, Doggo and Baolan this series have been great, and I think giving the Heimerdinger away is something that needs to be looked at, Kitty, because second time in a row, Baolan has hit the, whatever, the KFC Photon McDonald's
KFC?
grenade. The thing, whatever that big long spelling of his E is. He's hit it every time.
I'm not a Heimerdinger player, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this Heimerdinger and Ezreal just getting that level 1 push in does mean they got level 2 first, and it caught Abel off guard. But Aki coming in here to help out Shanji a little bit.
Oh. Shanji's overheating. His auto damage is immense as Ignite's already gone down. Harry trying to dissuade it. Flash in immediately. Harry's got his own, but he doesn't burn it. Instead, First Blood goes over to Aki with a perfectly timed gank.
The top lane 1v1 is so important for this game too, and Aki gets the gank off. It doesn't burn a flash from the side of Harry, so he is still going to be able to have a bit of survivability for that second game that can potentially come from the jungle of OMG. But the first blood going into the hands of Aki, I would have preferred this onto Shanji, but that would have meant that Shanji had to burn the flash, and you definitely don't want that to be happening. But we see the roles being kind of switched over now. Aki is being proactive on this Vi, and that's exactly what we want to see OMG have for this game too.
Yeah, Ning hasn't found his way into a lane yet, and bot looks a little bit difficult at this point as the waves actually push against Ultra Prime for the time being. Doggo just waiting it in, and excuse me, that's a perfect setup for Doggo and Battleland to slowly push against him as Ning gets a back off. Might even end up returning to the bottom side. Shanji still scuttle crab on the top side, meanwhile, gets a bit of vision himself and further secures this top lane wave as Harry is pushing into him, and Kitty. I will say, Harry having flash maybe makes it hard for Aki to make a return, considering that Aki did burn his own flash in that first blood.
Most definitely. Ning is just being a little bit sneaky here because this wave is currently being frozen from Shanji, so he does have to break this just in case Aki decides to come top lane and burn that flash. I mean, Ning will just be there for that response. He does get spotted on this dot bush though, so Harry is going to be able to get his wave in very safely. But yeah, once these level 6 spikes come from the side of OMG, I mean, with the Vi and the Ahri having their mobility in hand, these side lanes are looking so vulnerable, especially when the summoners are down.
Maybe we'll see Cream move around this time, because on the rise, there was no movement. Cream was always getting ganked, and to his credit, Ning wouldn't actually let him leave the lane, so I feel like last game was just the quality of Ning making sure that mid was always pressured. But this time around, Cream's had a much better time, and even with jungle being nearby, able to push that one out, move across, ensure this early drag, and that OMG this time around will pick up first.
Ning did dodge the vision around that Skeletal Crab though. Can he pull off a gank in this top lane? Harry is 6.
Well, he's going to lock him down. Shanji has the red carpet available. He's overheating at the time being though. Has to flash away. Goes for the quick re-engage here as he burns down. The Equalizer being held for now, but the Summoner being down on the Rumble is great as he uses Equalizer just to push out and try and reset this wave.
Oh, but this wave is so terrible for Shanji. He needs some reinforcement. Cream coming top lane right away.
Oh, Ning's still there. Ning's still there, but he is spotted out. Arctic Assault gets him through. A second Electro Harpoon will also fly in. And the wave does end up going towards turret, so I guess you call that a win.
Crisis has been averted. The lane has been pushed in, and everyone can breathe on the side of OMG. I mean, finally some action coming out of Ning, but he's looking for more, I think.
Round number 2. Not sure if he was spotted in. Shanji walking up to the turret, maybe a big greedy flash from Ning. Shanji just burnt it, but he's overheating. That's Rumble with Flame Spitter as well. And remember that overheat auto damage is insane as Harry goes back in, but Shanji can do this. Electro Harpoon, Flame Spitter, uppercut. Harry gets it, but boy, did he make it close.
That was very worth. I mean, Ning even flashed to guarantee the CC going on to Shanji, and they trade 1-for-1 in the very end. I'd be very happy for the side of OMG. I mean, Aki isn't doing too much on the other side of the map, but that does mean the wave gets pushed in and Shanji gets away with the plus 300 into his pockets. But yeah, this replay, I mean, he did dodge the vision, Ning did dodge the vision, gets the CC landed onto Shanji, but the amount of damage from the overheat and the ignite just melted Ning, especially when he only had half HP into the fight, and Harry having that magic cloak in this 1v1, Shanji just wasn't able to kill, not ruin the passive, yes, of course.
No, but it's just insane, right? Like Camille's passive coming in clutch. The shield given was huge, and means that Shanji, I'm not sure if he would have got the 1v2, but it would have been even closer. As you said, it was still clutch. He got the 1v2, he got a kill rather, and Ning's flash, and he's still 10 CS ahead. So Shanji's still in a great position as Ning is in the brush again. Set
Ning's
up a tent, brother.
Walls.
Oh my god, and he's got the ulti too. Equalizer on top, but Shanji has no support nearby. Aki was doing the Herald, or at least getting to start it up, as Ning is a ganking machine.
I told you, Hysterics, the Sejuani and Camille combo coming out of Ultra Prime for this game too. I mean, if Shanji lives the first 10 minutes, I would be extremely surprised. Now with double summoners down as well, these 2v1s are just looking impossible. I mean, Aki was around, but he just wasn't there to hover for that wave to get pushed in as well. And last time I saw Shanji on this Rumble, he had a tough early game.
Yeah, again, it's setting up likewise, right? Even despite the good play, Ning is just so sneaky in these brushes.
Yeah, the wave is once again getting pushed in for Shen. This is the second gank, I believe. The wave once again building towards the side of Ultra Prime. I mean, Shanji has to get this wave in or he gets frozen on. But Vi just being a little too late to the situation does end up getting the Herald, however. So if Aki is able to make it up to Shanji by popping that for the top lane, I think it's okay.
But we need to be real. Harry is set up. 2 kills now on this Camille. So Divine Thunder are coming soon. And for Shanji, we did talk about him. If he falls behind, this game plan for OMG looks a little bit pear-shaped as Ching might be ganked now as well. Vault Breaker in. Flash immediately burned. Cream with the Spirit Rush as well. But that'll be a summoner down for Ching that maybe can be abused later on.
We need to do a level 6 checkup. OMG's bot lane has reached that level 6, so PP Gold going to have a lot of more pressure around the map. Now Aki has realized that this top lane is just getting consistently camped, so he has to be there for the counter ganks. But Baolan being freed up from that bot lane priority, I mean, he's just hovering as well.
Ning actually saw him on the edge of the blast cone. Just as he took it, Ning popped out of the brush and pings went down, so they know that Aki's up here. Ning hovers and waits as his ulti is available, but Harry is not pushing forward. They don't want to risk it as Pete Bigod now on a ward, Cream now on a ward. Great vision control from Ultra Prime. Let's see how they react because Aki, he steps out, is still thinking about that Rift Herald. As Shanji pushes up, trying to at least set up one play.
The dragon is going to be spawning in 30 seconds, however. So Shanji's just going to take this wave and head out as Aki resets for this dragon. I mean, like I've been saying, the Ashe and the Varus safely reached that level 6, and they're going to have so much engage compared to the side of Ultra Prime. I mean, unless the Camille joins in on the fight where she has the TP advantage, I think OMG is looking at a very good fight to take for this first dragon, or second dragon.
Yeah, the second, right? Because second was set up thanks to their first due to bot push, mid push. Now being able to find a second, OMG off to the races early on. Again, sits well as Aki going to still be holding on to that Herald. Might be able to utilize it alongside mid and try and get that priority there again as it is going to be dropped down. Cream moves in. Shanji's even come down for this one, only having the Ignite. So Kitty, this has the potential to be a full 5-on-5.
We need to remind everyone that Shanji did use his ultimate to clear that top lane wave, so they're lacking a lot of damage when it does come to a 5v5.
Oh, Ning goes forward, misses out, but PP God flashes out. So that's a summoner burnt for the Glacial Prison. As mid gets pushed again, OMG pull off the objective for now. And everyone just backs away slowly for the time being.
Yeah, we're getting that bot lane priority, however. I mean, Doggo is pushed up and he has to get this wave, so it just looks like OMG is going to start this first. Without the Sejuani ult available either, it's going to be very hard to engage a fight that you win from the side of Ultra Prime. So he's just gonna go back and clear the vision in that top side because it was working for you for the first 10 minutes, just camping Shanji on this Rumble.
So get back in and get him towards his first item as Drag goes down number 2 there. Herald did get a charge mid, by the way. All gold went to Aki by the looks of it. I'm not sure if Cream was able to share some of that in its wake, but at the very least, OMG now lead by 500 gold. It's not too much, but still, you look at the objectives, and Kitty, you look at the ability to force fights early on with this Rumble in the mid-game. OMG are definitely on track to do that, and definitely on track to have a much better Game 2 here, coming out of the early game stage especially.
Yeah, especially when Abel burnt that flash so early into the fight. I mean, I'm surprised that Abel was able to survive for this long. I mean, Ning, once again, back in this bottom lane. He does have the seasons available.
Wow, bit of a Captain Jack Sparrow from Doggo as ulti comes through. Baolan sends out all the rockets. Now that upgrade's done as Ning flashes, but it's an instant response. Abel already burnt the clans, and he might die. Permafrost though not getting the rocket. Hang on a minute, doesn't connect here. Abel able to auto attack down as he picks up the kill. Cream is the carry to rescue them this time.
It's not about how you got there, it's about what you got as a result, and the Sejuani falls down. PP God, I mean, The attempt was definitely there. The ultimate, I respect it. Abel just getting so much damage down before this fight even started. Doggo just instantly eating a little bit disrespectful, honestly. But Abel, I mean, he is just trying to run for his life. Still has the flash available, so he does dodge this. Predicted the CC coming out of Sejuani, and PP God does block a lot of this damage from Baolan as well. And oh my god, I think that hit me, Miss Eric's.
Oh man, it must have hit one of us for sure. But
I'm stunned.
I was wondering, I'm like, what was that just flew past Abel? What was that across the screen? I thought it was just like a Heimerdinger particle. But it was PP God's arrow.
Definitely a particle.
Yeah, just wanted to fire it somewhere at the very least. Either way, kill goes over, Abel gets it. A Mortal Shield by picked up, so even though he's 10 CS down, that kill going to match up and even put him over the line of Doggo a little bit here in this second game as OMG settled for a 2k gold lead. And Kitty, you know, we already talked about the early game going well for OMG. Now it's kind of interesting to see how they group up, especially around this third Dragon, maybe second Herald, and start some of these skirmishes / team fights off with that one item power that you see coming through.
Just the amount of lockdown that OMG's team composition offers. I mean, you have the ultimate from Vi, which Shanzi, once he connects his ult as well, that is just one person gone from the side of Ultra Prime. So they're playing so scared in this early game because you don't want to be bleeding, but you are giving over 2 Heralds and 2 Dragons towards the side of OMG. A lot of gold into the hands of this team. How long can you really hold on there until the Camille and Victor scales?
Well, you're definitely going to have to make something happen in the next 10-15 minutes then, because, as you said, scaling is something we talked about with Ultra Prime. At least OMG, though, are going to keep pushing the tempo. Mid's going to drop down. It was a response, though, and a trade for Ching, which, for the team that's falling behind, is always going to be better. OMG trying to shift up for a second charge, which they'll be able to do here. And so Inner gets damaged pretty hard as PP God, fancy beat Abel as well. Look at this, arrow back, equalizer. OMG's bottom lane just come out randomly and dodge everything. They're literally in the Matrix. That's Neo.
I think we have OMG Neo on the side for this game, but like you said, the amount of ults and CC from OMG, Baolan just misstepped the slightest. He had that flash available, but Abel's ultimate connected onto Baolan. He just wasn't able to move. Shanzi even being there and drops the rumble onto his head as well. I mean, poor little Heimerdinger, he didn't deserve this. All he did was a little bit too far pushed up because he thought that Ning had something. They had a pick there and he could cut the bleeding, but that wasn't the case.
Look, 1, ready, 2,
2, 3.
and then everything else lands. The re-engage is beautiful. Even Abel dodging the Q from Doggo in the end as well, which in essence would have hurt like hell. Kitty, nice stuff from the bottom lane of OMG, and off the back of that pick, getting one for themselves. Nets this gold to continue scaling up. Kitty, 30 seconds till Dragon as well, and we are 1 item strong for everyone in OMG.
Yeah, really good start from OMG for this game too. I mean, Ultra Prime just trying desperately to hold onto their champions until they can reach that later game stage. But I think if OMG keeps this up with how they can lock onto one single person and completely delete them in the matter of seconds, that's exactly what you're trying to look for this upcoming fight.
And the burst comes down though, and Shannon across the arrow hits onto Ching. There they go forward, air across as well. Equalizer, look at the lockdown. Ching unable to move until he flashes out. The screen's going deep as Janji just under 4 people, no fear whatsoever. Chaos Storm helps out, True Shot Barrage as well. Absorbs a lot of it, but OMG finding a beautiful pick to set up for this neutral.
The Mikhail does get used to bail Ching out of that Ashe ultimate, and Harry wasn't there, so that was a 4v5 where OMG comes out on top. Harry could potentially look something here.
Oh, there's the flash plus the flash. Actually, Harry with the Hextech ultimatum, but he's in the hexagon with the whole of OMG. As Ching comes back in with the TP, he's about to find reality pretty harsh. As Abel better be called God. He's 3-0. OMG now reassert their dominance and are ready to move back to Dragon.
Harry tried to make something happen as he saw that OMG was resetting to get that health back. Cream did end up resetting, but there was just no follow-up CC from Ultra Prime. Once Ning is dead in these team fights, you just don't have a front line or any follow-up CC to guarantee the kill, and they just walked away scot-free. Third Dragon going to the hands of OMG, where a Mountain Soul is now being threatened for the next 5 minutes. I mean, if OMG keeps this rolling and gets the morale there, I think this game 2 is looking very winnable.
They're not slowing down. It's 3,000. It continues to progress in their favor. And they just got the third dragon, which means fourth has to be a fight. Means in 4 minutes 40, Mountain Soul's on the menu, boys. And Ultra Prime will be there. But will they be comfortable enough with how this game is, with their item state? Because, Kitty, you're looking at gold on your screen right now. I think it's really only mid that has a gold lead with Ching over Cream. But bottom side, 3-0 Varos. He's almost 2 items with the baby rage knife turning into a...
Baby rage?
That's what it's a baby. It's a baby's knife. It's like a butter knife.
It's a dagger.
It's Quincy's rage blade. It doesn't matter. It's like what you give to kids. You know, it's a plastic one. I don't know why you'd be giving a knife to kids, but still, it's like the plastic one, you know? Like something you get from like Kmart or the reject shop. That you're like, it's not morally very sensitive, but if they wanna handle weapons, that's good enough.
For sure, for sure. I mean, OMG looking like they're threatening with something real here. The Baron is spawning in 40 seconds. Once this dragon is going to be up in 3 minutes, I think OMG can just threaten this Baron and give over the Dragon's Soul, as Ultra Prime obviously is going to prioritize that, but really close call from Harry.
As you said, they're able to balance that out. They can play through double objective. Like, okay, Soul's not the setup, we go to Baron. You know, and pushing in sides with Baron as Rumble, waves insta-clear. Ari, you could say the same thing at this point in the game too. I think there is a lot of versatility, further to what you mentioned, with how OMG play out those next 3 minutes. As we're looking at replay from right, Harry just ultied in. Red buff dies. I guess the observers are a bit of a sadist.
The Ash hit onto Harry here. It was really close because the minions died. I mean, he just eat away scot-free. I mean, that was so close.
And because of it, Kitty, Harry has to back away, and Shanji ends up pushing all the way to this bottom turret, netting a third one for OMG. 5,000 in the lead, or rather 4.5, but you get the picture. It's a large amount of gold, with 2 minutes 40 being the countdown. Baron is now up as well, as Ark is going to be spotted out with the True Shot Barrage. So the play kind of ends there. And Kitty, now it's all about the setup for these neutrals coming up, because no vision in River right now for Ultra Prime.
Absolutely nothing from the side of Ultra Prime. I mean, they are just holding on to dear life, hoping that this Ezreal hits his 3 items, hoping that Ting also gets his damage items online, so they are just able to take over these 5v5s. But yeah, this Ezreal only having the Essence Reaver, he's going to back for his 2nd item, however. But just with the items available for Ultra Prime in this 21-minute mark, they are lacking severely.
Well, they might have found a pick though. Charm's going to come through. Ning following this up. Arctic Assault there. One more for the Permafrost. Cream not going to get hit with the Winter's Flail, but there's no follow-up from Ultra Prime either. Just trying to find a pick out, get the Banshees. That's something, but that'll be up for the next fight.
Yeah, playing a jungle in patch 13.1 is pretty sad, because you're playing champions that go in and they don't really have a way to bail out. So usually you see junglers either popping off or getting popped. So Ning is unfortunately 0-3 in this current game state, with the 4th dragon spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds. If Shanji is sneaky enough, I think they can just get Baron under Ultra Prime's noses if they act fast on it.
They'll do it so quick as well. Arrow flies out. That was a bit of a blindy as Baolan takes the equalizer. Following up, the poke not connecting is a shame. Baolan's going to live for now. Equalizer, remember, not really on that much of a cooldown, but it's early enough where 2nd item isn't there for Shanji, so it is noticeable here with about a 40-second cooldown still to look at.
But PP's god ultimate is already halfway, and the dragon is still 50 seconds from spawning. I mean, Cream just getting so much done in this top side, just from the pure amount of pressure that OMG has with these engages. Ching has to be in mid.
Well, Kitty, my feed has frozen. I don't know about...
The ultimate from Ning comes out, and Abel flashes away. TV coming in from Harry, he joins in the fight. Ning dies as a result of that. PP God has to flash away. Camille getting his hands onto PP God. Flash is committed from Ultra Prime. Cream going in. He doesn't get anything done, but a 2, I mean, a 1 for 0 for the side of Ultra Prime. I'm taking over, sir. Don't worry, I got you. The fight doesn't stop just quite yet. Cream re-engages. Shanty has that ultimate available once again. The snipe from Abel. And Harry dies as a result of that as well. OMG takes the entire fight with a 1 for 3 trade, and the dragon is now being threatened.
Bruh, don't worry about me. Honestly, I got the feedback, but Kitty, I think we prefer listening to you play by play. Absolutely nailing it. And honestly, we come back and Ultra Prime is still wiped. I don't know what happened with the feed, but absolute base. Well done. All right, so Kitty, now that you've done both roles, what is more fun? Be real.
I think I prefer breathing and doing color casting actually. Now, it's okay though because OMG is getting their hands onto this 4th Mountain Dragon and Ultra Prime, they do have the Sejuani ult available so they can flip this realistically.
Oh, they're going in. All right, Ning's going to be Vault Breaker as Ching flashes immediately from the TP, gets knocked back. Ching in the middle of no man's land, getting blasted away. And unfortunately, Ning's going to be sniped down by Shanji. This is over Red Rover. The fight makes it so, and the Dragon as well. OMG say Ultra Prime gotta go.
Now with the Mountain Soul into their hands, this Baron is just completely free, and something that you don't want to be giving over to OMG is that Baron, because once you start this bleed, I mean, Ting and Doggo realistically might never make it to that point where they do damage in these team fights. The TP comes out of Harry here, but just the amount of focus that OMG has onto the carries of Ultra Prime, they can't really escape. The Vi just has so much lockdown, and just the follow-up from OMG is insane as well, where it becomes a 3-for-0 trade again.
Baron gets taken in live as well. This one in 24 minutes is almost a 10k gold lead, and a good resurgence for OMG, playing a comp that they can start rolling with. Again, Kitty, the early game so much better this time. And despite bot being a bit of a travesty, a bit of a harsh one with Doggo and Balan finding an early reset against their team, I think Ultra Prime have struggled to find any direction here in this game. Ning not having the same ganking capabilities as Harry. Now has to run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run. Well, Everfrost, it connects, and good buffer. There's everything else. I don't know the rest of Run, Rabbit, Run. It's like a 1920 song. Showing my age a bit here. I'm at least 90 as OMG do finally get the kill, and with Baron, now here comes the base.
Hysterics, I spot with my little eyes that I believe the solo laners of OMG has a cheeky Medjais in their inventory. Both 16 and 14 for Cream and Shanti, definitely keeping up the momentum from how this early game was so successful from Aki. The tables have flipped. I mean, this time, Aki's being the aggressor. He's the one looking for those proactive plays where the side lanes of Ultra Prime are suffering as a result of that.
Now, the base is going to blow up as well as Go Ching. Just get, no TP to get back, but as he resets now, his base is going to be in absolute tatters. As Harry's here first, Ching there as well. Arrow flies through, looking for a fountain as Balan gets hit with the equalizer. Half his health gone, thanks to Demonic Embrace as well, it looks like. And they got everything they wanted out of the Baron play. It's only 1600, but the base is now broken.
Yep, and we saw Ching desperately trying to get that CS from that bottom lane to get his 3rd item online, a Shadow Flame. But with him getting Banshees as that 2nd item, absolutely no damage from the side of Ultra Prime, where Cream, I mean, having that Medjais available, obviously just melting the side of Ultra Prime in these team fights. Can they really hold out until that 3rd item for Ching? Because 2 inhibitors are down, they're going to focus this bottom one now.
Wave getting pushed in by Cream on the side while OMG continuing to pressure up top. Harry's going towards his top side. But OMG playing between Fog of War right now, clearing out every piece of vision that lays in wait. And OMG now have to just dot I's, cross T's. A good sign for this team, considering that, OMG are like our mid-tier team, 3-3 right now, is holding the barrier of that 10th, 11th region of our standings. And OMG with a win here would be massive, as they're now to the back line. They're trying to finish it off. Equalize with CC is just too easy for OMG. As, again, teleports from Ultra Prime in this game have been in the middle of danger. You may as well just walk into Mordor with the 1 ring. Here you go, Sauron, how's that? As the inhibitor drops down. All 3 are now gone down. And OMG are going to just back off, it seems, or at least poke them down with a teleport and try and finish here.
Harry walked out with that TP, but you know who didn't walk out? Doggo. He got a vial to his face, a rumble ult to his face, and he got melted. 4v5 now without a carry from Ultra Prime.
Everfrost gets Ching on the back end, getting destroyed by Cream. A good resurgence for him as well, as Shanji's rumble, probably what we need to talk about. Under turret, he gets saved out as Baolan runs back to the fountain, but in 28 minutes, OMG bring it all the way back. It's flushed away from Baolan. He gets ultied, and Doggo is sent back to the pound again. No barking from me this time. It's all OMG for game 2.
Look, I'll do the barking because Cream and Aki played the second game perfectly. The amount of synergy that they had for these side lane skirmishes and just how they communicated for these team fights, especially with PP God on this Ashe as well. Just a lot of proactiveness and exactly what we're looking for this series to go to a 1-1 up against Ultra Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've been saying for this entire time,